الله يحفظك. Then if you do all of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect that individual. So we'll conclude upon that small reminder. And if there's any questions, then we can take some of those questions now. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullahu khairan. Brothers and sisters, if there are some questions, we have a few minutes inshallah, so we'll take them from the floor for the brothers, and if the sisters have some, they can write them down and pass them through inshallah, and we will try and take some of those.
They say the Salafis disunite. They say the Salafis disunite the people whilst other sects agree to disagree. What is your advice? Part of the statement is correct and part of it is incorrect. The part where it says that the Salafis disunite the people, what's the advice regarding that? The advice is this is a false statement from the people. Salafiyya and the Salafis do not disunite the people. Allah said, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Cling on to the rope of Allah, all of you together. But the question is, very easy to understand. How are the Muslims going to unite? How did the Sahaba unite? How? They united upon one methodology, upon one aqidah, one straight path. As Allah said, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. This is my one straight path. One straight path, so follow it and do not follow the other pathways because they will separate you away from the straight path. So unity can only occur upon that one straight path. Therefore, Ahl Sunnah, they unite the people upon that one straight path. That's why they are known as Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. That they are united upon that one straight path as Allah commanded. Whereas the people of innovation, they agree to disagree. That's true. Some of the people of innovation, they agree to disagree. That's true. But it's wrong. That isn't the methodology of the Salaf. That isn't the methodology the Prophet ﷺ taught us. The methodology isn't if one person wants to have a different aqidah and you want to have a different aqidah, but it's okay, we both say La ilaha illallah, so let's just unite anyway. Did the companions do that? If that's the case, then the Salaf, why did they refute all of the people of innovation? Were the Salaf disuniting people as well then? Because the Salaf used to refute the people of innovation. They used to refute them and warn against them, the people of innovation. So what are we going to say then? Are we going to say the Salaf used to disunite people? No. The Salaf used to unite the people. But they understood and they knew that this unity can only happen upon the one straight methodology, which is the revelation that Allah gave to us in the Quran and the Sunnah. Not upon anything you want to believe and will unite anywhere. Then what are you uniting on? So the people of innovation, it is their characteristic that actually they disunite the people. Because their unity isn't based upon the Quran and Sunnah. Their unity is based upon politics and other goals. As for the Quran and Sunnah, they say believe whatever you want to believe. We'll just agree to disagree and everybody be together. So what's the unity upon then? The unity isn't upon the Quran and the Sunnah, and that's what the unity needs to be upon. So the Salafis, they unite upon that and they advise the people to come to that because that is the only way to unite. It's impossible to unite if somebody isn't going to agree to the correct aqidah. Somebody isn't going to agree to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. They want to believe in some other belief of the Asha'ira, Jahmiyyah, Mu'tazila. How are you going to unite them? The unity only comes if they are on the Quran and the Sunnah. So it is the people of innovation who are disuniting themselves. If they refuse to accept the clear methodology of the Salaf, then they are keeping themselves disunited. Not the Salafis or Ahl Sunnah. Ahl Sunnah are inviting them. Come and unite upon the Quran and the Sunnah. But they are refusing. They don't want to accept the methodology of the Salaf. So that's their problem. Not the problem of Ahl Sunnah. They are not disuniting. So that is what is to be said regarding that. Ahl Sunnah unites the people upon that one straight pathway. The people of innovation, they can't agree to the straight pathway, so they are disuniting themselves, not the Salafis disuniting them. The youth nowadays cling to dynamic speakers and regard them as scholars, students of knowledge. These speakers keep the youth away from the great scholars to the point that they do not know the scholars of Ahl Sunnah. It's true. People these days, they are influenced by the way a person speaks, or they are influenced by the history of a person. So you have somebody, maybe he used to be a rapper or something before, and he comes and he becomes a Muslim, he gives lectures, everybody wants to go to him. He used to be a rapper, he used to do this, he used to do that. We have to go to his lecture. And maybe he's not even teaching the methodology of the Salaf. For example, maybe there are other people who used to be priests. Sometimes you get people, they used to be priests with the Christians in the churches, then they become Muslim. So now everybody wants to go and let's listen to them, what have they got to say? Or there are other people, as the question says, dynamic speakers. Maybe you can give examples of some of these individuals now who try to be dynamic, or they try to be more like comedians. You have the Maghrib, Al-Maghrib Institute, you've heard of them maybe. Al-Maghrib, they have that purple sign. Those people, they are comedians. Those people, if you listen to the lectures, their purpose, one of their purposes is, their main goals is to make people laugh. You go to the lectures and they give jokes that are not even befitting. I heard one of them, he came at the beginning of the lecture and this was a joke that he made. He said to everybody, I don't know why you're all here. Why have you come here today? Have you come to listen to a good lecture? No, I'm not here to do a good lecture. I just came to eat at the takeaway around the corner. These types of jokes. And they think that's funny. This is the way they give the da'wah. As Shaykh Fawzan said, da'wah is not joking and laughing and mucking around. Yes, sometimes the teachers, the scholars, they may have a joke with the students, but not the way that Al-Maghrib and these people they do. Those individuals, they have disunited the people from the scholars. Yasir Qadi and those who were with him, Muhammad Sharif, whatever their names are, or that Naveed Ayuz, or the big one, regarding his description, which is mentioned in the books of the hadith, to describe an individual not as a mocking, but as a means of identifying the person. So these individuals, they have these characteristics and these styles of speaking, which are not from the styles of the scholars. Look at Shaykh Fawzan, look at Shaykh Rabi'a, look at Shaykh Ubaid, look at Shaykh Zayd al-Madkhali, look at the Mufti, look at all of them, look at Shaykh bin Baz, Shaykh al-Uthaymeen. Did you see any of them coming to the stage and making jokes and making it a comedy act as Al-Maghrib does? Or coming and disuniting the people from the scholars? And that's what they say. Al-Maghrib and these people, they say, the scholars don't know what's going on in the UK and in the West. We have to teach everybody ourselves. This is wrong and this is their deviation. Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ ذِكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. They are the scholars. They are not these deviants here, Yasir Qadi and his followers. So be aware of those individuals. Al-Maghrib and these people, avoid them. These other dynamic speakers, as they say. And there are other people who don't even have knowledge. They don't have knowledge and they attempt to give the da'wah. You saw the mistake of Yusuf Estes recently. He gives da'wah and he doesn't have any knowledge. So he made a mistake about the Quran. He started telling people about the Quran, created, not created, making all types of mistakes with regards to that, because he doesn't have the knowledge to give the da'wah. So take the da'wah, take the knowledge from the correct sources, from the correct, authentic places, the scholars and the translations of their works, or other people who are qualified to give the da'wah, who are upon Salafiyah. And not to go to hear people everywhere, left, right and center, just because they are dynamic speakers, or they are American and they have that accent, and some people like that. It is not about those things. It is about taking the truth and the authentic religion. What do you do if you advise, if there are three mosques close to each other but they all deny the teaching of each mosque? What do you advise for us to do if there are three mosques close to each other but they all deny the teaching of each mosque? So there are three mosques but they're all against each other, huh? So it's very simple. From those mosques, from those places, you look to see who is upon Ahl Sunnah, who is upon the methodology of Ahl Sunnah. And the answer very simply in this area is this masjid. These other masajid, I don't know who they are, what they're called to. But it has been established here that this is the masjid that calls to Salafiyah, calls to the methodology of Ahl Sunnah. That is what you look towards. If there are disputes amongst the people, how do you work out where is Ahl Sunnah and where are they not? Then look to their methodology, look to how they teach, look to their people, the ones who give the lectures, who they speak to, who they are with, the scholars meaning. Look to the methodology they are teaching and work. From there you will recognize who Ahl Sunnah is, and that's where you go. Is it enough to say that I'm upon the Quran and the Sunnah because people make Salafi to be a sect and we have been warned about the amount of sects on Judgment Day? The sects, yes, there's a hadith about the sects which the Prophet mentioned. إن هذه الأمة ستفترق إلى 73 فرقة كلها في النار إلا واحدة قالوا من هي يا رسول الله قال من عليه وأصحابي اليوم. The hadith of the Prophet said that this ummah is going to split into 73 sects. That's mentioned. However, as-Salafiyya, then that isn't a sect like these groups and sects like Hizbiyya. Salafiyya, it is calling to that one straight through methodology. And there is no harm in calling yourself Salafi. There's no issue in that. These people who oppose Salafiyya, they make an issue of that. The scholars do not. Ibn Taymiyyah said, Shaykhul Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he said there is no issue whatsoever in calling yourself Salafi. Shaykh bin Baz, he said if that's truthful, you are upon the methodology of Ahl Sunnah, then yes, call yourself Salafi. There is no issue in that and there is no harm in that. To identify and to distinguish yourself that you are trying to be upon the methodology of the Salaf in following the methodology and the way of Ahl Sunnah. That's what you're identifying by saying that you are upon the methodology of the Salaf. You are Salafi. That's all it is. And if the people of innovation have an issue with that and they are opposing you in that, then that is due to their misguidance. As for the common people, you want to give them da'wah, there is somebody you know in your family, there's somebody from your friends, from the commoners. It's not an obligation that you go and the very first thing you tell them is, I am Salafi, now I'll give you da'wah. You don't have to say that to them, but to generally say that you are upon Salafiyya and Salafi, then there is no harm in that. And if the people of innovation make an issue, then they are the ones making the issue, not the scholars of Ahl Sunnah. What do you advise the youth who do not attend the durus in the masjid? The ones who do not attend the durus in the masjid, then what else are they doing with their time? Their time on this earth is precious. Seeking knowledge is one of the best things you can do. In the hadith it says, "Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilma, sahhala Allahu lahu bihi tariqan ila al-jannah." Whoever goes on a pathway seeking knowledge by attending lessons, for example, then Allah will make the pathway of that person easy to paradise. If you seek knowledge. In another ayah Allah says, هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Are they equal, the ones who have knowledge and the ones who do not have knowledge? They are not equal. The ones who have knowledge are greater in station and rank. So this is one of the best things you can do in using your time. And it will aid you in increasing your iman, aid you in worshipping more. And that is what is going to be held accountable for every individual on the Day of Judgment. How much worship you do, what obedience you do, how accurately you do it.
This is a question from the sister.
Inshallah. You send the message well.
Saeed Raghe. This individual, he's with Al-Maghrib. There's an individual, Saeed Raghe. How do you pronounce his name?
Raghe, yeah.
Raghe. That individual is from Al-Maghrib too. And he has those same types of mentalities. He is against Salafiyya. His methodology is the same as those people. He works with those people. He doesn't call you to connecting you to the scholars of Ahl Sunnah. He doesn't call you to connecting you to the correct methodology of the Salaf. They have their own mentality. They have their own institute. They have all of this thing working with the people of innovation and everything. You've seen Yasir Qadi and the deals that he made with the people of innovation. Did the Sahaba make deals with the people of innovation? This is what they do. So avoid these types of people and don't be influenced by dynamic speakers or whatever the people consider them to be. Take the knowledge from the authentic sources. You can get cassettes, CDs of the scholars, translated Arabic to English. Stick to those types. And don't be influenced by these people who come making jokes and making the lessons as if it's comedy. That isn't the religion, that isn't da'wah. So we'll conclude upon that point then. Jazakumullah khaira. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een.
Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah we will pray Salat al-Asr inshallah and then